Do you ever buy multiple versions of the same thing? Well, the same happens with aquascaping tools. Stick around, watch this video so you know what tools I recommend to set up and maintain your planted aquarium and aquascapes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Natquascape with me, Nat, giving you weekly videos of me setting up different styles of aquascapes and planted tanks using different materials. Also expect tips, tricks, unboxings, setups and reviews of products related to aquascaping and the planted aquarium so that you can get your tank off with a flying start. Okay, so we are looking at what tools to use in setting up and maintaining your aquascape. Okay, so I've been aquascaping for the last 11 years, so I've really bought tools to help me scape and maintain the tank. I bought loads of them. Some of them have been expensive and good and bad. Some of them have been cheap and worked out really well and not so well as well. So let's have a look at what products I think you should get so that you're not wasting money trying to buy a whole bunch of stuff that, you really don't end up using. We want to make sure that we get the job done effectively and without any kind of fuss. Okay, so let's think about tweezers. So here is a whole bunch of tweezers that I have to hand, okay? Some of them are cheap, some of them are expensive, some of them are made by Fluval, but look how many I have here. I've got let's have a look. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tweezers. I've got some more lying around the studio as well. Okay, now some of them are mid-range, some of them are expensive, some of them are really cheap. Okay, so I've used all of these extensively, but the go-to one that I have and the one that I recommend you invest in are the ADA Pro Pin sets. So let's just get them, get rid of those, and these are the ADA Pro Pin sets. Honestly, by the time I bought all of those tweezers, which I don't even use and actually struggle with, I might as well have just spent the money and bought one of these ADA Pro Pin sets. It's comfortable, it's accurate, it makes planting into the aquarium really easy so that you enjoy the process. Okay, so let's talk scissors. Now the main scissors you want are some spring scissors and some curved scissors. The curved scissors are really the ones that are really versatile. You can use them to cut a carpet, stem plants, also leaves from your epiphyte plants such as Anubias and your buces as well. It's really handy to have the spring scissors as well as the curved scissors, but honestly, if you can only afford one pair of scissors at the moment, then I would go for the curved ones. It's just more of a versatile option. Now you don't really need to spend too much on scissors in my opinion. Go for something mid-range. The thing you really want to make sure is that you don't see too much light passing through the blades when they're closed, when you're looking at from this view. Because if you do see a lot of light going through, that means they're not close together and you'll end up, pulling the plants out instead of actually cutting the plants, and that's something that you just don't want. At the end of the day, you want to be able to cut the plants accurately, not pull them out by accident. So you need something that is sharp, but more importantly, you don't see too much light passing through when the two blades are kind of close together. So that's what you're looking for when you're purchasing some aquascaping scissors. Okay, so next up we've got the pipes for cleaning your pipes and tubes. So let me just tell you which one you should get. If you've got, half a meter of tubing and you've got 12 to 16 millimeter tubing with a 13 millimeter pipe, just go ahead and get this ADA spring washer because the spring is really flexible. Okay, the brush is nice and soft and it works really well. It lasts long and it won't scratch your glass pipes. Okay. If you have long tubing, then this ADA brush cleaner isn't gonna be long enough. This ADA spring washer for 12 to 16 millimeter tubing is 2 foot, about 2 foot long, just under 2 foot long. And as I mentioned, if you've got long tubing, then this isn't going to be long enough. Although you can try and clean it from both sides, which may work. But if you have longer tubing, then I've got this Awase one. They've got a long brush. This is about 5 foot long. It saves you from, brushing from both ends as well, and you can do it in one long sweep. A wire brush like this one is great for getting stubborn algae off your rocks. You can also use electrical toothbrush, which is amazing at getting rid of soft algae. But remember folks, the key to minimize algae is not to have an outbreak. It's all good if you have some algae. I think it makes the scape look, more natural, and it's a good source of natural food for, your algae eating shrimps and your homanas as well. But remember, supplement your ottos and shrimp with some food every other day, or 3 times a week at least. We want to see those big round bellies on our ottos. Okay, so when scaping, you don't need to get an expensive sand flattener, okay? You can get a cheap one from Amazon instead. It's just a flat piece of metal, at the each end of a rod, useful for moving gravel and sand back into place if you scape the tank, or you've done something in the scape where you really need to move the substrate back into place as well. So no need to get really expensive with a piece of metal with flat bits at the end. It's just a sand flattener, honestly. Sometimes you can just I often use my hands and then just use this at the end. Anything flat, old kind of card, credit card, whatever it is, store card, a protractor, if you've got one of those, just anything really you can use to flatten the substrate system. But if you do want one of these, in your kind of arsenal of aquascaping tools, then don't need to get an expensive one. Seriously guys, you can save the money and just get a cheap one. Okay, so for cleaning the glass, I use a non-scratch washing up sponge. That's it. It really does the trick, and they are so cheap that you can get a pack for a couple of bucks. I don't use like the Denelay Cleanator or anything, but Denelay, if you're watching, send me one over and I'll put it to the test and compare it to a cheap cleaning sponge and show you my opinion if you should get something special for cleaning the glass or just use these simple things instead. Okay, so make sure that you don't use the sponge that you use for your dishes to clean the tank. Make sure you use a dedicated set for tanks only, please. You're gonna need a bucket, okay? Now, there are ways to clean your tanks without using a bucket so that you can pump it straight into a drain or the garden or down the sink or whatever it is, but you're gonna need a bucket at some stage to do some minor maintenance routines, okay? Now, when it comes to a bucket, one could say a bucket's a bucket. Get a bucket with the gradient on it, because then you know how much volume you have in your bucket, and then you know how much water treatment you need to add per liter or whatever it is. Okay, so you're going to need some siphoning hoses. I suggest this one that's made by Superfish. It's easy to use, no fuss, gets the job done. It has this part on which can, prime the water, so you're not having to suck and everything like that. And it's got this with a mesh as well, so you can't suck up the fish. So if you've got a nano tank, then all you need is one of these smaller size ones for a nano tank as well, so that you do have to suck on this one, by the way, but then you can get into those little nooks and crannies in a nano tank. You can even get smaller ones than this one that I've got here. I mean, this one's good for kind of like a tank that's around about 45 liters. The other one is great for your big tanks. So I have a video of what I do to clean multiple tanks and do water changes in multiple tanks. If you have a big tank, then or multiple tanks, then click on this video which shows you how you can easily perform water changes without the need for lugging around loads of buckets, saving your back from injury as well, more importantly, and saving time. Finally, a glass cleaner. Now I have this cheap and cheerful one. I don't need an expensive one. This is made by Tetra. I've had it for years. I like this because it's nice and long, which means I don't always have to get my hands in the tank when I'm trying to clean the glass, and you can easily get replacement blades as well. Now I'll try and put all of the the links to the products, in the description below. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with any of the links that I've got in this particular video. These are the products that I used, and this is what I recommend that you get, so you're not again buying the same type of product multiple times. And I just really want you to get the right tools that does the job, and so you can also save money and not buy multiple components and multiple versions of the same tool, basically. Okay, so that's it folks. What to buy and use to set up and maintain your aquascapes and planted aquariums. Okay, now if you're getting value from this video, then please smash that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell, the notification bell, so you don't miss out on future uploads and content. It really will help me grow the channel and pursue my goals and ambitions in aquascaping. And trust me, I have some big plans for this channel, all in good time. Thanks for watching, and until next time, ta-ra.